Hey everyone, I just wanted to let you guys know that the video you're about to watch is pretty long, so if you wanted to skip straight to the gameplay, just use the chapter function at the bottom of the video. The game is really good, and I would highly recommend that you guys look into it. It's about to go live on Kickstarter in about 10 days-ish, so this is a really exclusive early access, so really check it out. But if you want to just skip to the gameplay, go ahead and use the chapter function. Y'all are awesome. Take care. Hey everyone, Kupo here, and if you're wondering where I've been lately, it's because I've been playing this, Wastenauts. It's a fantastic game developed by Raspberry Games. It is a collectible card dungeon crawler that's also co-op as well. It's not exactly a deck building game, it's like a reverse deck building game because you contribute to building the deck that you will end up fighting during your dungeon crawling adventures. And we'll get into some of the gameplay pretty soon. A little bit of background: I've played the game for about 15 to 20 hours so far, and it is, short disclaimer, the game is in extremely early alpha. As you can see right here, I'll move myself, but you can see the build right here. It's still 0.24, so it's extremely early access, extremely early alpha. The game's not finished by any means, but I'm just here to give you guys a kind of a showcase of what to expect if you want to get into the game and end up getting an alpha key, or later on down the line a beta key. So I'm going to go in and give you an in-depth look at the game, as I pretty much hit full endgame so far in the alpha build. I have all the characters at nearly max level. Yes, there is level progression in the game. Does it significantly increase your character's strength? A little bit. The important levels that you want to hit, I believe, is level 4 or level 3 when you get the augments. The other things just give you more ability slots that you can have for use later on down the line. As you can currently see, this is the loadout screen. We have 5 playable characters in the game. Delilah here is actually not available from the very beginning. You need to earn the in-game currency in the game called crowns in order to buy her card, and you can do that in the shop for 1,000 crowns. As you can see, we are on the main screen, and the main screen has the deck called, well, it's kind of like the deck, like the base of operations. It's called the Havila. It's a floating city, and the kind of lore behind the story is you take these guys and you're going to dive down to basically an abandoned planet and recover scrap that you can use to upgrade your stuff, survive, get stronger, etc. So we already visited the equip screen, and like I said, as you play more and more, you will unlock more of these locations. We have the store. This is where you're going to be spending a lot of your crowns, the currency up here in the upper right hand corner. And as you can see, there are a lot of cards that you can purchase that give multiple abilities. Obviously, you can't equip them all at the same time. You have blueprints. Blueprints are something that you use when you are exploring. You use your currency that you generate in the exploration stage, called scrap and components, to buy these blueprints, and the blueprints just make your characters directly stronger for that particular session. The blueprints that you buy in a particular session don't carry over between dives, and that's what kind of makes it a roguelike style kind of game. But you want to have as many options as possible, and so you want to buy as many of the blueprints as you can as you progress through the game. And obviously each character has their own set of blueprints and special ability cards that you can end up purchasing as you play the game more and more. And then you have the simple cards, which I highly recommend you buy as fast as possible: the makeshift weapon and the treads. They don't cost any components, and they just give you +1 attack dice, and +1 movement speed. I said it at the beginning, the deck is the adventure. They're the enemies that you're going to be fighting as you explore down on the surface. And these enemies you actually get to place in the deck if you're playing on an adventure mode. If you're playing on story mode, it's kind of predetermined for you. But as you go to farm, more currency and make the game more difficult for yourself, you're directly in control of that difficulty by placing higher level monsters and adjusting the level of the encounters. And then obviously it has all the cards here, and then you can also sell extra cards for more crowns as well. So the construction up here, the scrap and go is the level of the shop. As you go and do more dives, you'll gain resources, and you can just upgrade the level of the shop, which, as you can see, requires your shop to be a certain level in order to buy certain cards. But these cards can also be dropped randomly on runs. The rarity of each card, it differs, but you can get them from certain drops. And the catalog lets you look at the cards. Down here in the rewards, as of right now, there's only 2 skins for the dice that you can choose. You can choose the default cogs, or you can choose the temp art, which basically masks the rolls on your dice. So you don't know how much damage you do until the damage actually comes out. So it's a little bit fun there. And I'm sure, obviously, in the future, they'll be adding more and more dice skins. The church, after you do a few runs and unlock the second area, you will unlock the church. The church is a area that lets you augment the cards you've already bought. So basically, you go to the shop, you buy the blueprints, you buy the cards, and then you want to come here after you've done more and more runs to obtain these rarer resources to augment and level up the cards that you already buy. And not every card can be leveled. Some of them are stuck at level 1. Like this, it'll say at level cap, these homebrew stems. But like for, this magnetic coil level 1, it says +1 dice for every 2 draws remaining. If I want to upgrade this by paying 500 crowns and 1 ferromagnetic sprocket, it is +2 dice for every 2 draws remaining. So there's no reason for you not to want to upgrade these. It's just, obviously, it's more of a luxury than a requirement because it costs a lot of in-game currency, and these rare resources, they're not by any means required, at least as of right now with what the game has to offer. So, with all of that being said, that is a short explanation of everything here on the starting deck, aka the Havila. So I'm going to go in and we're going to give an in-depth bit of gameplay to show you, what the game is all about. So it says here's the main objective of the game: get a reactor core from Beam City. Now Beam City is this, I'm assuming, this area right here, the final area. It is not currently in the game right now. So we're kind of just in, like I said, we're in the very early alpha stages of the game. We really are just kind of exploring the game, figuring out what we can do, how the game plays, kind of really having fun with it. And so we have 2 areas. We have the wastes and we have the dunes. The difference that I've seen in the areas so far is that the wastes, it has a recommended level 1, recommended level 3. Now this only applies really if you're playing the story mode, because like I said, when you play adventure, which unlocks after you've beaten the story mode once, it will allow you to adjust the level of the particular area. So like, even though the waste says recommended level 1, if I click adventure mode and I modify the deck, I can make this as high as I want it to be based on, obviously, the enemies that I have access to. And so for the ease of explanation, we'll just start here in the starting area that most of you will also be starting out as if you end up playing the game. So I will play the adventure mode because obviously if you play the game, you will play the story yourself. And the story is, for the most part, it's pretty funny. It has a little witty jabs here and there, but the real gameplay we're getting to, that you're going to be spending a lot of the time in, is going to be this adventure mode because it's customizable. So after you pick your starting area, we have the wastes, adventure mode, level 1. As of right now, it'll give you, this is actually a really nice feature, it gives you the drop rate. So you can see at the end of the adventure, there's a 58% chance we get a common card, 31% chance uncommon, and 11% chance rare, and you always will get 3 random drops. So I mentioned at the beginning, this is a co-op game, and that is because you can, as you can see here, take seat. You can create a custom game, and people can join your game and play as each of these characters, or you can just play all the characters by yourself. It's completely up to you. So in this particular case, because I'm not playing co-op right now, I will click take seat. So I take all 4 seats here, because I will be controlling all 4 characters. And then, just as the prompt says, drag to select a character. So you need to place the characters in these seats. The order from top to bottom doesn't actually matter at all, at least as of right now. So we're going to use the 4 default characters. I don't want to get you all confused with Delilah, the new character. I could probably make a separate video on her because she's extremely powerful right now, but she's not at level cap. So, like I said, most of my characters are at level cap, if not very close to level cap. The only thing stopping them is achievements, which you can complete. In each character, when you go to the equip store, you can see what achievements they need to do to complete unlocking. XP alone is not actually enough to level up. It is at the very beginning, but as you start approaching the level cap, which as of right now is level 6, you need to complete certain achievements as well as get enough XP in order to reach the next level. So we've assigned all our characters. Now we're going to go over here and add monsters to the deck. And this is kind of the deck building part of the game, but this is really the only deck building part of the game. The majority of the gameplay is not actually deck building, and so I would not classify the game as a deck building game. It is more of a roguelike, co-op, dungeon crawler style game that just uses cards. It's a card format instead of a any other classical kind of format. So we can go over here. You can see the pool of cards. Now you can click the auto assign button, or you can manually go through it and right click on the cards. And the auto assign button currently right now isn't working for me, so I'll just go through and assign the monsters myself. So we'll go through, we'll go here, Rocco, sure, Warmonger. Let's just play at the highest level that I can play right now, which I believe is level 4. Go through here, yeah, landmines, sure, yeah, this is fine. Pressure plates, more mines. So as you can see, after you finish everything, the adventure mode shot up from level 1 to level 4. It takes the average of the monsters that you place in the deck. So theoretically, you can adjust this, right? So it says level 4. I can try and take out maybe one of these level 3 enemies, like this landmine, and put in a level 1 enemy. See? And it still will stay level 4. So you can adjust and make these fine-tuning adjustments. Is it required? No. If you want to be a min-maxer like me, sure. But it really is just for ease of clearing. And then after you're done, you hit the ready button. It has a little countdown, and we'll get right into it. It has a little comic book-esque style for its art. I find that really fun and interesting. Okay, so here we are at the camp. You start every adventure at the camp, and it will show how many nights you have to complete the mission before you're forced to fight the boss. This is basically the amount of time that you have to explore the quote-unquote dungeon to make your characters as strong as possible so that they actually can fight the boss at the end and not wipe at the end. So each character has their own special abilities. Jack is kind of like the all-around brawler style kind of guy. A lot of his abilities are just, they involve fighting, taking injuries, and healing these injuries to do damage and accelerate his play style. You have Andrea here. Andrea is more like the fast scout. Typically, she'll have the highest move speed at the beginning. With augments, she can have the highest move speed in the entire game at 8. But instead of putting movement speed augments on her, I've balanced her out by placing attack augments on her to increase her attack. But if you go double move speed, she can technically have the highest move speed in the game by default at 8. And as you can see, her abilities more rely on drawing resources. She really, at the beginning at least, she's not exactly well suited for combat because her starting combat is 1. So you really want to use her abilities to scout the deck out and find resources. She's really the resource grabber. And if you right click on her, you can see her starting ability is called Grab and Go. You gain a stack for every resource card you draw, and you get an additional resource. You get an additional 10 scrap every 3 stacks that you get. So your kind of goal with her is to get as many stacks of Grab and Go as possible. It says max 15 stacks. There are blueprints that you can buy that let her augment her attack even further based on the number of stacks of Grab and Go that she has. So she really kind of wants to avoid combat, at least in the early part of the game. Once you have her leveled up, she can start fighting people for real, and it's really fun. Lena is the kind of support character. She's very obviously designed to be a support character. A lot of her abilities involve augmenting other party members and stunning and CCing the enemies. She's not really well suited for combat by herself, so typically you want to send her with someone to augment their abilities. And her passive ability, she gets an extra attack dice for every other party member adventuring with her, so you really don't want to send her off alone. And then Buster, he's kind of like he's the exact opposite. He wants to be alone. His passive is Lone Wolf. It actually slows him down to accompany him with any other members. He's really designed to be like a glass cannon style character, especially once you put the scope on him. He has a lot of abilities that augment his ammo, and has an ability that allows him to join another party for the first combat of the day. But for the most part, he'll be adventuring alone. So we have our 4 characters. What do we do now? We need to place them in parties or let them go solo. So typically what we'll do is we'll use this ability right here from Andrea to reveal the top 4. At the beginning, it's top 3. This is upgraded to level 2. I did that at the church. Reveal the top 4 cards, put them back in any order. So you use her ability, it lets her basically see into the future, and you can see what's coming up. So you can reorient these as you wish. So I'm going to place this enemy first, and then the canteen after, the food after, and the ability to purchase a grenade launcher for 20 scrap. Unfortunately, we will not have any scrap, so this is basically worthless. I actually put this at the front. There's no point in running into this event, so I might as well get it out of the way. So we know that we're gonna have to fight this 8 health enemy. What do we do? Well, we established the Jackson all-arounder and Lena is a supporter. They are basically made to go together, so we place them up here in party 1. These squares on the right are the number of available parties that you can formulate throughout the day. So you can place them together in the same box, meaning they'll adventure together, and parties that adventure together move at the slowest speed. So because they both have a movement speed of 4, they will advance 4 draws together. If, for example, Lena only had 2, then the party can only move as fast as the slowest member, which I think is pretty interesting. And also, I mean, it makes sense, right? So we'll send these guys. They can draw 4. We already know what the top 4 cards of the deck are, so that should be taken care of. We'll send her by herself. We'll send Buster by himself. And then we can use some other abilities. Lena has an ability here where the first time target party enters combat, they get to stun the drawn monster. So we'll use that on her own party. So you can see this little trouble note thing, opening act. So basically the first time they encounter a monster, it will automatically be stunned and it will not be able to take a turn. We already know that they're going to fight an enemy, so that basically takes care of that. We will then use Overwatch. Actually, I'm going to swap Andrea with Buster. We're going to use Overwatch so that Buster joins Andrea's first combat of the day, and we'll also augment his weapon with Acid. Acid is a status effect that you can apply to an enemy. Whenever they take an action, they take a damage. And if at any point you feel lost, don't worry. All this information, it is a lot, but you will gather it very quickly as you play the game. And there is a help icon up here on the right. You can check out each keyword in the game so far and scroll down. And you can, it'll tell you exactly what when I say action, using the card ends your turn. It'll all make sense as you end up playing it more and more. But anyway, we hit ready. Okay, so here we are. Day 1 exploration. We can see our draws, aka our speed. It says how many cards you can pull through the deck before you have to end your turn. We are in a party of 2, but our speed is 4. So we get to draw 4 cards. So let's go. We already knew this would be the top card. We don't have the scrap. We have to leave it. We know this is an enemy. Cool. As you can see, it has the stun debuff right here because of Lena's opening act that we placed. And we're just going to attack it. So click and drag. Very simple. And it will roll the dice. So the attack number here at the top of each character's portrait is the number of dice that they roll. And obviously having more attack up here lets you roll more dice. The dice have, it's a 6-sided dice, but the sides of the dice are not your standard numbers. They have 2 sides of the dice that are 0, 2 sides of the dice that are 1, and 2 sides of the dice that are 2. So 2 is the highest roll that you can get. It's a 33% chance for each possible value. Now these numbers can be modified as well by some gear that you can purchase. And there's the gear up here in the upper right. This is where you can purchase and craft stuff. You can only do it at the camp, but the available blueprints that you've purchased are available to be seen here, and they always make your character stronger, but you will not be able to get enough resources on an average run to be able to buy all the blueprints. So you kind of need to pick and choose based on the kind of run that you have. After killing the enemy, you can see that it actually joined our hand here. So every enemy that you defeat that is a mechanical enemy will end up staying with you. Biological enemies will immediately give you whatever loot that they were hiding. So this clawworm here, it says carry +1 speed. So as long as I hold this in my hand, it'll give me +1 move speed. If I at any point don't want to have that, I can always go here, and there's the masher here. You can take this, click and drag it over this area, and it will scrap that clawworm and give me something random. It can give me scrap, it can give me components. I don't really know, but it'll give me something. And typically you want to do that with guys that don't give you bonuses in the hand. If they have bonuses, then obviously you want to keep them. So we got a canteen here. Oh, Lena's getting real fast. And then some canned food. This is our first resource that we found. Resources are just cards that you can discard in your hand at the camp to gain X amount of scrap. Or you can keep it in your hand and bring it back. So any cards that your party has in the hand that you have not spent to augment their characters, at the end of the run, go back with you to the base. And you can use that scrap to upgrade your shop and various other things. So you don't always want to spend all of it. You just need to you want to spend what you need to make sure you can get through the adventure. Obviously, if it's your first time through and you're not sure, spend your scrap so that you can get as strong as possible. But once you have a good general idea of how strong your characters are, you don't need to spend all your scrap. Okay, it's Buster's turn. And the reason, and if you ever get lost, you can find out whose turn it is by seeing whose portrait is illuminated. You can see Lena and Andrea and Jack here are grayed out, so it's not their turn. It is Buster's turn to adventure. He also has a speed of 4, so we draw. The first enemy, pressure plates. This is probably not going to be good for me. It's a 12 HP enemy that heals itself for 8 every single turn. So in this particular case, I could attack it over and over, but it'll just constantly heal, and it kind of doesn't make any sense to do that. So I'm just going to use the escape function. So basically what you do here is you take 1 injury, but you get to dodge the enemy and continue. So it gets a free hit on me. So you can see Buster, he has taken 1 injury. Different characters have different amounts of injuries that they can take. All of these 4 characters can take 3 injuries before they are knocked out and have to rest at the camp to regenerate their health. But another thing you may have noticed is that Buster's speed has dropped to 2. So in this game, it actually mimics kind of real life. Whenever you're taking injuries, your characters actually get weaker. And that adds an entire new level of strategy to the game that most other games don't have to think about, because most games you operate at full power until you fall unconscious, right? But in this game, Buster took 1 injury, cut his speed in half. If he takes another injury, it'll cut his attack in half. So basically, your characters not only do they get closer and closer to getting knocked out, but they also get weaker as they get closer to being knocked out as well. So you need to keep that in mind as you're adventuring. But even though his speed dropped, it didn't affect our starting draw, because the number of cards that you can draw are based on the starting speed value of the party, not the modified ones. So we have a Clawworm here. We can attempt to try and beat this using Lena's ability. Lena has an ability where she can give another character 2 attack dice, and it has remote, meaning you don't have to be in the same party to use this. So we're going to backup Singer this man, and he still has the acid ammo because we did not attack the previous guy. So we'll see if we can scrape by. We do 3, the Clawworm's going to attack us. See, and like I said, Buster's attack then drops to 2. This might be a double kill, potentially. I think it might be a double. Maybe not. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, so if you get the killing blow, then the acid doesn't apply to you. But you can see, so we're going to showcase what happened. So a party member got knocked out. Bummer. We end the turn. The game will still progress for the exploration day. So we're going to keep going. Use Andrea. Go through. Let's see. We can take this. We can take this. And we got pretty lucky on our rolls here. So there we go. The Scav Party was a biological unit, and so it gave us the loot immediately. And the loot is always random, unless it says loaded on it. But it'll just go in your hand, and as you can see, the card says camp at the bottom, meaning you can only apply it once you're back at camp. So we don't have any more draws, so we have to end our turn. And that is 1 day of exploration. So after all of the characters have adventured, you go back to the camp where you can reuse cards that you've used the previous day. Cards that say exhaust get refreshed when you get back to camp the next day, so we can scout ahead again. And this is where, if any party members are here, you can trade resources back and forth between each other. So this Clawworm, I'm actually going to give this to Jack. That way the adventuring party speed goes up, right? Because I'm still going to place Lena with Jack, except now instead of 4, the party speed is 5. Because even though she's 6, Jack is at 5. We go at this pace of the slowest member. I will give this +1 attack damage to Jack. This will modify his actual attack card. So we use it, click and drag it, boom. Now mods +1 damage. So now not only will he roll 4 dice, he'll also apply +1 damage after whatever the dice say. Buster, he was knocked out, so we basically have to let him rest at the campfire. He won't be allowed to adventure. He can't do it if he's too injured. And then let's rinse and repeat. Let's go here, scout ahead. Okay, so we can find 3 resources in a scav party. So what we're going to do is we're going to rearrange and give the 3 resources at the front and let Andrea take them all. We'll also cash in our resources that we found earlier. For scrap, we have 130 scrap. So you can go here. Let's go through and buy a makeshift weapon for Jack. Oh, actually, no, let's buy treads for Jack. This will increase Jack's speed to 6, and now it matches Lena's speed. So now we get a 6 draw at the start of the next day. Oh, actually, no, let's rearrange, because I remember I put the 3 resources first. Okay, so there's 3 resources and then an enemy, right? Andrea does not like fighting enemies because it resets her stacks of grab and go. So we're going to do 3 draws. Very good. We got an extra scrap for her stack of grab and go. Another one and another one. And now we're going to deliberately end our turn because we know this is an enemy, right? And even though we have a draw, whatever, we let it go. Now we draw this enemy that we knew was coming up and we destroy it because our characters have gotten pretty strong. We got a rusted bit. We still have our draws. Another scav party. So combat in the game goes at this based on your speed. So it's not only good to have a good speed stack to draw more cards, but priority in combat is also based on the speed that you have at the start. And you can see the speed here is indicated by the green. This landmine has an 8 speed, so it's going to act before Lena and Jack, who have 6 speed. And you can see the attack order here at the top of the screen. Landmine applied dodge 1. So basically, it's going to automatically dodge and soak whatever damage it takes while it has that status. But then I can come in and attack it afterward. Basically, if you're alone and you're not faster than the landmine, you're essentially forced to run away from it because you'll never be able to damage it. That's kind of the thing they're going for there. So what I'm going to do here, I'm at 0 draws. Jack has an ability called Adrenaline Surge. If your next attack kills a monster, refresh and exhaust. Refresh, as you can see, restore the party's draws to its max, and I can't use it again until the next day. So let's go. This only has 1 HP, so actually, even if I roll all 0s, this thing will die because it has a +1 modifier. We kill the landmine. We refresh our draws all the way to 6. So let's draw 6 more cards. We get our canned food, canvas, a medgoop dispenser, very good. More resources. A little guy, little flit. He encountered the wrong party today. We roll this dice. Lena doesn't even care. We take this guy out. Easy peasy. And we get another resource. So a flit is basically useless. It doesn't do anything in your hand. So what you do is you open the gear, take this, put it in the masher, and it gives us a component. Very cool. Let's see here. This landmine is loaded. It says loaded component. So I know for sure when I scrap this, I get a component. Very easy. We'll let the clawworm stay in the hand. Okay, so we could end here, but thing is, Jack has another card called Ready for Round 2, where he takes 1 injury and refreshes again. Now remember, taking injuries lowers your speed, so his speed is lowered to 4. We only get 4 draws this time. But thanks to, the medgoop dispenser that we just picked up, we get to heal for 1. Now, unfortunately, as you've noticed, it does not restore the draws to 6 because the draws are affected by the speed at the start of the day. But we still get another 4 free draws. Oh no, another landmine. It's going to go first because it's a lot faster, but I don't care because we have 2 people. Typically, if you adventure in parties of 2, as long as they're together, the landmine will never win because the landmine can never attack you. It's completely reliant on outspeeding you and forcing you to run away. But if you have 2 party members, then you can just walk in, take the shield down, and then clean it up with the second person. And then we finish it off with some resources. We scrap the landmine for a component. Now, technically, we can ready for round 2 again. This is something that does not exhaust. As you can see, the Adrenaline Surge exhausts. Ready for round 2 does not exhaust, so we could do it again, and you know what? I think I will. Let's go. Let's draw another 4. Choose to stay out after dark, otherwise add 12 flits to the deck. Okay, so yes, we will do this. We will stay out after dark. This essentially means that our party members do not go back to camp this night. So any cards that they have, anything that they're carrying cannot be traded, they cannot be cashed in. But we avoid adding 12 more flits to the deck, so I consider that a win. And we'll go ahead and end our turn here. So here we are. Back at camp, you can see that Lena and Jack have automatically gotten deployed to the first party because they stayed out after dark. We don't really have any control over that, and Buster's fully healed because he rested at the campfire the previous night. So, like we did earlier, we will just do this to scout ahead. We'll see here. Oh, there's 3 enemies back to back. Okay, let's rearrange it so they just fight the 3 enemies, get the resource. Put Jack here, or not Jack. We'll put Buster there. Put her here, and let's see here. Lena's hand is very full. There is no max hand size in this game, at least right now. So don't worry about your hand getting too filled with resources, because you can always cash it back in. Anyway, I can't use the rusted bit. I can't use anything in their hand because these guys are not at camp. I have scrap and components. So what I will do though is I will use some of this to upgrade Buster. I will buy the scope. The scope improves Buster's rolls. All of his rolls of 2 become 3. So now Buster's dice essentially are 2 0s, 2 1s, and 2 3s, which is very strong. Let's do this. Buster last. Or no, Buster. We'll have Buster go first and use Overwatch on Andrea. Okay. Now we go. We fight the enemies. Easy. Ooh. This actually is really good. So Jack's passive, every character has a passive. Jack's passive is Thrill of the Fight. He actually restores a draw when he gets the last hit on a monster, which he'll get right now. And you can see here, the draw is recovered to 4 because he last hit this Crackler. So ideally, this Lena Jack party thing is really like, it's really perfect. It's like the developers really intended it to be like this because they just complement each other so well. We fight this. We're just kind of tearing through everything now. Our characters have gotten pretty strong with these augment upgrade cards, so we're kind of just starting to chew through everything. And we're not going to refresh. We're not going to refresh right now because I want to make sure that Jack is full health. And he will be with the med goop, but I don't want to keep on going in combat to take an injury for free before the boss fight. Okay, let's go. Grab the canvas, grab another canvas, grab a net, grab a food. Okay. Buster had a pretty easy time. Andrea, oh boy. Okay, so Sock'em and Rock'em are here. Oh my god. Alright, so I'm very outmatched here, I believe. Let me see here. Oh, maybe not. If Jack was here, it'd be very simple. Unfortunately, I think I have to fight. Because if you try to escape, you need to escape from both of the enemies. You can't just escape one, and she's already taken 1 injury. So I think we're backed into the corner here, and we're just going to have to fight. So let's fight him. Okay. We should be able to kill this guy. Yes, this will get upgraded to a 3. Very good. He gets taken out. Now it's Sokka. Oh, no, it's Buster's turn again. That was at the end of the round. So you can scrap during combat as well. It doesn't take up your turn or anything. Now remember, we have not used Lena's backup singer, so let's get in there. Backup singer is extremely strong on Buster once you've bought the scope because all of his 2 rolls become 3s. But unfortunately, if you roll, 5 zeros, you get a little unlucky here. So he's about to take 1 injury right there, which lowers his speed to 2. So he moved before the Sock'em last round because they were tied in speed, but now that it's faster than him because he took an injury, now it's going to get another attack. If it doesn't die here, which it, I believe, will leave with 1 HP. Yep. So now it's going to punch. We're taking a lot of damage here, but it's okay. I think we clean it up. It's a landmine. The landmine is faster than Andrea. Well, she's gonna get knocked out. Unfortunate. Okay, and we're gonna end the day here. Okay, it's night 4 out of 5. So this is the last night before we have to fight the boss. So you know what? I'm just gonna have everybody rest at the camp. I don't want to go into the boss fight with any injuries. We can use Andrea's ability. Let's place her out. Oh no, she's slain. She's slain. She can't use her abilities. Sad. But what we can do is cache this Flitten component. Okay. +1 damage, +1 dice. So as we've already said, Buster really loves dice. So we're gonna give him the modifiers. We can give Jack that one. Let's see here. Yes, we want to use that. Let's cache this guy in for a +1 damage. Yes, I'll put it on. Yeah, let's put it on here. +1 damage. And I think that's it. Okay, so we can spend our resources now. You can either double click or click and drag. Either one works. So we'll cache some of our resources in. Let's make Buster even stronger by giving him +2 dice, -1 speed. And then for this boss in the waist specifically, there is the thing called the PMS PCB that disables heal actions, because the final boss actually has a healing action. Obviously, you don't want it to heal, so you need to do that. And then I will assign Lena to party 1. We'll let them rest. I could just end my turn here, but let's throw a grenade. Lena should be able to handle this. Okay, very nice. Get some extra resources. Let's see. I think I assigned 2 Sock'em and Rock'ems. I've only encountered 1, so I'm not going to continue drawing because it's a 50-50% chance that Lena's going to have to 1v1 those Rock'em Sock'em robots, and I'd rather not. So we end. Everyone's back to full health, and now you can see as we've completed night 5 of 5 of exploration, it is now time to fight the boss. I could cache these resources in, but I already know I'm not going to need it. Let's apply our radioactive ammo to apply acid. Buster's ready to go. Jack's ready to go. +1 damage twice. Let's get it done. Alright, so we fight the behemoth. A battery pack, no sweat, fire the PMS PCB. That's the name we're sticking with, huh? So because we bought that piece of gear, it's going to fire off and disable this healing action right here. So now basically the behemoth will alternate between AoE injuring us and doing nothing, essentially. So that's really, really strong. Let's go ahead and attack. We have to chew through 60 health. And as you can see, the behemoth has 5 speed as well. And it's immune to stun, so Lena's stunning abilities don't work on it. So let's just roll our dice. The behemoth attacks. It damaged everybody in the party by 1 because it's an AoE injure. Come on, Andrea. Okay, it's Buster's turn. This is what this is what we've all been waiting for. We stacked him with a ton of dice. We bought a scope on him. So let's backup singer him to give him 9 attack dice. Let it rip. Go, go, Buster. Look at all these 3s. Hits for 16 and applies acid to the behemoth. So it took a damage for doing nothing, essentially. Attack. It's going to do another AoE injure here, and this will drop everybody in the party down to 1, which is pretty dangerous because like we've seen earlier, when the people drop to 1, their attacks all get cut in half. So we really want to try and kill it now. But we have a med goop kit to heal 1 party member by 1 HP. I'll use it. I can't use it right now. Come on, Buster. And that'll clean it up. So as you can see, Buster with a scope is pretty strong. And that's it. We killed the final enemy. We got a ferromagnetic sprocket for our troubles. And we got 80 crowns for completing it on level 4. Here are our drops. We got a EP Augment +1, Animate Scrap, and Screaming Scav. This, I believe, is a rare drop, so that's really, really solid. It's a card for Andrea. And then we have 400 XP that we can assign. As you can see, everyone's basically a level cap. I can't assign any more XP, so the XP doesn't really do a whole lot for me. But obviously, playing the game on a higher level of difficulty gives you more XP and more crowns as a reward. We confirm. And that was one run of Wastenauts. As you can see, it's pretty fun. There's a lot of depth going on, a lot of replayability here. Even though the game is in extremely early alpha, I can only see it getting better. So, hope you guys enjoyed this in-depth look at Wastenauts, and hope to see you guys around. I stream pretty much every day at twitch.tv/SaviorKupo. I stream this game, I stream Final Fantasy XIV. I do a lot of stuff. Check out Raspberry Games, follow them on Twitter, follow the Discord, join the Discord, links will be in the description below. It's a fantastic game, and I hope to see you all around and do some co-op games with me. Peace out.